Alright guys, welcome back to Sad Barca's Corner. Not necessarily a corner today, but yeah, just with a little bit of a twist. The same location as we've just filmed the last bit in anyway. But we've got two Sad Barca's of the week this week, both of whom have asked questions before. So from Insta we've got A13X.1104 and from Twitter we've got Josh K84. So well done to you guys anyway. Also shout out to those who asked questions this week as well. We had a lot come in, so thank you very much for that. So you two both ask, I mean it's a very sensitive topic, but it's what do you think about the few racist Chelsea fans, and I'll say allegedly, giving the club a bad name? What are your thoughts on the allegations made against Chelsea fans in recent weeks? Is there a way you think the club can stop it, or at least try to minimise it? Now I'll let one of you two start on this because obviously it is a sensitive topic. So yeah, fire away.
I think it is very sensitive. I think there is a lot going, and there definitely is racism that happens at Chelsea, but there's also racism that happens at Man United. I mean, you can talk about Ji-sung Park chants, the Romelu Lukaku, Shinji Kagawa. There's examples of racism that happen everywhere. I think Chelsea is a target. I think we're big clubs and that there is an issue, but I do feel that because of our previous history, I think if you look at the National Front used to use Chelsea as a stronghold to spread their message. And then obviously, they went through their headhunters as a big hooligan firm. They set themselves up for allegations in the future and stuff. And obviously, hooliganism was something that was tackled. Still elements of it today, but it's not as strong as it used to be. But from a historical standpoint, Chelsea is a far easier target than other clubs. Like I said, I'm not saying that there's not an issue. There's not a racist issue. I'm not saying there isn't, because we've seen examples ourselves. Lewis has been taking the brunt of some stuff, and I think it's just a case of that there's a issue, but there is at the majority of clubs. I think the news topics, as again, are alleged. I think I'm going to hand the floor over to you guys on this one. Racism just needs to be, racism, xenophobia, whatever, it just needs to be tackled.
Well, this is how I'm going to say it. I'm going to paint it of exactly how I feel. And at the end of the day, nobody condones racism here. Obviously not. Yeah. And it's wrong on every level, right? We understand that. Chelsea have been made a scapegoat. I'm sorry, but they just have. And if we're going to go back to the Sterling incident, now my personal view is, feel free to attack me on this, but it's just my personal opinion, is he didn't say what he said. I think he said mank, cunt, which I think is, to be honest with you, I'm not massively against the use of that, to be honest, or some people are. But
I've said worse.
Yeah, I've definitely said worse. Again, the thing that came out with VD about the Y word. Now,
you were there.
I was there, yeah, and it's nowhere near what people were portraying it out to be. Nowhere near. Now, yeah, it was sung. I'll give that. But what I will say is, it's been sung for years, absolutely years, and I'm not condoning it. Don't get me wrong.
Which one was it?
It was the who's that team they called the Chelsea? Who's that team we all adore? And it ends off with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Tottenham, Loader, and then obviously the Y word. Now, as I said, that wouldn't have that. Why not bring that out? Bring that up a long time ago. Why have you now had? It's just a bandwagon thing. Unfortunately, that it's just as a result of the Sterling thing, everything has been pinched.
Well, I mean, again, it's a sensitive topic. We did raise this anti-Semitism conversation with We Are Tottenham TV, and I remember, people saying, well, their argument is we used it as a discriminatory term, which it is. In the Jewish community, is the equivalent of the N-word.
Yeah.
And they've now taken ownership of it. I think, you know, it just needs to be tackled full stop. They shouldn't say, "Oh, we use it in a loving manner, so that way we can say it." Irrespective, I think it should just be stamped out of the game. Full stop. End of conversation. Done. That's it. I think you know, it's. I understand that it's a Chelsea channel. I know it's been some for years, but it's not right, is it? It's not. It's
as I said, we don't condone it, but at the end of the day, why do you have to wait to? Why does it have to be now when all the shitstorm comes? Just because that one moment has kicked it all off. It's completely unfair on Chelsea. I'm sorry.
This is where I see it from Chelsea's side, and let's be real, it's a delicate situation, and you gotta figure out the right way to say, because there's a lot of key factors in it. There's a lot of people that you might offend talking about. You could offend Chelsea fans talking about. You could offend Dan Levine. You could offend anybody really. The way I look at it as is, Raheem Sterling didn't really come out and say that he had not been racially abused. If anything, he came out and more or less confirmed it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I'm more or less going to follow from Sterling, because no one else has said that he didn't say anything else, except the guy himself. Now, we'll go to Vidi. Like, I want to look at this in terms of time. We'll go to Vidi. Now, the anti-Semitic chanting. This is where I think Chelsea as a fan base has their eye on them, and now, like you said, it's a bandwagon thing. But we can't just react to it by pointing the finger at Arsenal and West Ham and saying, but they do it as well. But that's the thing. There's a problem at Chelsea.
But it needs to be said.
No.
It needs to be said.
This is where I get that point. And I get that it is a bit of a bandwagon against Chelsea, and I don't like that. But you can't lie and say that there isn't a problem at Chelsea as well as there is a problem at Arsenal, as well as there might be a problem at West Ham, as well as there might be a problem in football, or maybe the world in general. Now, going back to what we said about the Y word. Now, me and you were both debating with We Are Tottenham TV about this. And I remember Jay Zink, actually, he put a tweet out sometime earlier this week saying, Chelsea fans it was more or less saying, I don't get why Chelsea fans are getting pissed off about Spurs fans wanting to say the Y word, but us not being able to, because it's the equivalent to black people just saying the N word. But
no, it's not.
No. But this is where you also twist it and you say, because this is football, because this is a sport watched worldwide, especially in Jewish countries as well, regardless, it shouldn't be used like that.
No.
And I don't think the Y word should be. I'm not going to say I'm not going to stand on the side of Chelsea fans on the anti-Semitism and everything like that, because let's be honest, it should be taken out. It should be taken out of the game. Now, I understand we are being used as a bandwagon, but
listen, I think Fabregas.
What Fabregas said. If it takes Chelsea being used as the scapegoat to get rid of it, as much as I'd say I'll firm it. I'd firm it for the greater good. Because I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some racism at Chelsea. I haven't seen it every game
but I think that's still completely unfair, because then you've got kids going to Chelsea games and you've got all these fans around them calling them a racist, and these kids are like, Mummy, Daddy, what's all these fans saying this to us? And I'm just thinking they've got to grow up in that situation, because we're targeted for it.
No, but here's the thing. I've grown up in that situation where I've had so many people come up to me and say, why are you a Chelsea fan when they're all racist?
I've had people come up to me, so obviously I'm from so my town, I'd say, is probably the whitest town in the entirety of white, middle class, conservative, blah blah blah, all that stuff. That is where I'm from is like. And you have people come up to me and saying, and there's one of my friends called Fabian. He's an Indian lad, and he's saying to me, when you look at Chelsea, and he's come under scrutiny before from people, and it's back home as well. You can't say people are educated or whatever because they're middle class or whatever, because racism is prevalent where I'm from. And for example, like if Lewis was my mate from back home, you'd be called the token black friend, and I think that is bang out of order. But it's stuff like that, and it's kind of a case of, when people come to me and say, with Chelsea, we've grown up with it. You go to the ground and you don't see many people of other skin tones than white, and obviously I think that is wrong completely. For example, Lewis is here. We've got obviously Jordan's someone who comes to the games regularly with us. Lewis's girlfriend Talika comes with us to games. You know, you've got loads of different origins. We've got Sadiq as well. You know, as Cameron. You know, you see that there is definitely in the younger generations, especially, and in the older generations, there is a wide array of people. You know, it is a cosmopolitan club. It's in London, and the fact remains. Yes, there is an issue. But like we said, we're not. I'm not pointing fingers because every club needs to tackle it. And Chelsea, with a Jewish owner, are doing what they can to tackle it in their own way. Because banning orders, let's be honest, they don't do shit. No. I hate when people say, "Oh, they're banned from saying people, oh, good." They're still there on someone else's ticket.
Or they'll just come down on the away day just for the laugh.
I think the banning order for the guy after the Sterling thing, though, I told you guys and I told everyone, I'm innocent until proven guilty on that. And a lot of people were very reactionary, and a lot of people won't like that I've said that. But at the end of the day, I think that needs to be remembered.
One of the things I'll back you on the fact that I don't agree with newspaper articles putting his home and his address on social media and stuff. Regardless of what you've done, that's not on. And
that's a personal
attack. The guy has basically been attacked over the last couple of days, but like I said, Raheem Sterling hasn't exactly come out and said he hasn't said anything. No one's come out and said they didn't hear it.
I think John Barnes who said it, and I think he summarised it perfectly. Was, you know, you can't come out of you know, if you say you're racially abused, you're black in football, you just instantaneously play the victim card, and you can't be having that. It's not. Look, it needs to be tackled, and I just think it's a case of people need to be a bit more expansive in themselves. You know, people need to have that mentality where we need to grow up and move on. The planet is cosmopolitan; it's built for everyone, and I think it's just a case of we as a club. And I think one thing I will bring up here is when Terry from the Football Terrace basically came and said, "Why haven't we spoken about it?" and all that type of stuff, and. You know, as much as Terry compliments us and says we're really good, Target are saying we're the number one Chelsea we haven't spoken about it. Why haven't we done it? Yeah, we were late on it. Shall I tell you why we were late on it? Because we wanted to see how the story developed. Because we wanted to see how people reacted to it. You don't just come out and just say this happened, because you're the same as everyone else there. And we're not here to jump on a bandwagon. We're here to have a general conversation. We aren't going to sit there and say that there's not an issue, because there is. It is the nature of the beast.
But it needs to be tackled on the whole.
It does. And but Lewis has made the point. Chelsea being made a scapegoat. Yes, there is no doubt of that. However, the reality of it is, if that means that for the general consensus of football fans around the planet, everywhere, that there is a shift, that there is a change, then you take that.
But then that just means that we get even more shit.
And
that is not merited. I mean, that is just simply not fair.
I know.
One step back, take two steps forward.
We're being scapegoated, but you look at it, the reason why we're being scapegoated is because we have 4 minutes.
But history is just that, history, right?
History is
and
just
you
that.
Need to remember, people need to remember that.
History is just that. But this is fans that have been going to Chelsea for decades and decades and decades. Yes, it's not as bad as it was in the 80s or the 70s or the 60s, but it's still there.
Yeah. Well, Lewis, I think.
I'm used to, as a Chelsea fan, because I'll come out right and say I don't say the Y word at games. For me, I can call Tottenham plenty of other words like shadow dwellers, stuff like that. I'm not going to get banned over one word.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like I go to games and I'm used to whenever I hear chances of Y words coming out to keep quiet for the line where the Y word is. I'm used to stuff like that. But you think about and you fully deep things like that. You're basically saying, okay, I'm just going to keep my mouth quiet when it comes to the anti-Semitic part. Like fully deep that sentence. You don't really think about it and think, is that really on? Like even Chelsea pages like We Are the Shed are coming out and they're saying this needs to be stopped before it gets too far. We need to end this all now so we can actually build ourselves.
It comes down to us. It comes down to the fans.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, I think Brighton. Everyone was on tenterhooks. You could feel that.
That away end was surprisingly quiet.
I wouldn't say it was quiet. I'd say everyone was a bit.
To be fair, I was around the ends. I was around on the edges, so
I was on the edges as well. But at the same time, people were. You could look around and you could just hear the conversations. At half time, I was wandering through, and you just hear people talking about what's going on with this, what's going on with that. Are we going to get banned by UEFA? Is this going to happen? Blah blah blah. And it's just a case of, as a unit, as a group, we need to look at it and go, do you know what? Fuck it. Is really getting banned from European competition worth a song?
Is you being banned from watching the club that you love worth it over a word? Like, literally answer me that. Like, comment section. Do you guys really think saying that one word is worth it?
Put it this way, and if you do think it's worth it, let them go. It is as simple as that. Just you get on with it.
If it filters all the racism out of this club, I'm all for it.
It's a bit like Russell Howard summarised it perfectly in a comedy sketch where he said, "You go on a tube and you have to put mind the gap. If someone says they want to go in the gap, let them go. Let them go."
Exactly, because fact is,
one less person on Love Island.
Fact is, I've had racist at Chelsea. I haven't really spoken about it that much, but I do, and. Let's be real, I don't want to be getting that at Chelsea, so for me, if it filters it out, I'm all for it.
And it's Arsenal as well. It's when some people were throwing coins at you last year. And people saying that we don't take a stand against racism here, you can go and check the fucking links for yourself. Paris, Lewis, other stuff as well. There is no space for it in football. Full stop. And I do not care if someone says it's worth it. It's just a song, blah, 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 whatever. If you think rappers can say that, I don't give a shit. One, we're not fucking rappers. Two, it's just stupid. It is. It needs to be stopped, and there is no space for it anymore.
It's stupid, but you've also got to look at the impact it has, because let's be honest, it's a generational thing, and as this happens, there are generations growing up in this at Chelsea every single week.
Yeah, do you know, I was going to say, the harsh reality is I don't think it will ever be eradicated fully.
No.
I'm just, let's be honest, to completely get rid of it requires an incredible amount of work. And I mean, Kick It Out and all those organisations, they do what they can. They do what they can, but I mean, let's be honest, if you're growing up in a family who's racist, the kids are going to grow up like that, and they're going to be set in that way. And they're going to think to themselves, actually, yeah, but my whole family and my friends say it, so why all of a sudden can I not say this? And that is going to be the thing that's going to be the hardest thing to get rid of.
Example of that proves it. I don't know if you guys remember that video. I don't know if you guys remember a video from... There was a couple of Millwall fans that were in the car and they're all chanting, fuck them all, Millwall. And then the little kid at the end says...
Yeah. That was...
That's literally the influence that these chants can have.
I mean, that is cancerous right there. And at the end of the day, the thing is, I think it as well, like, let's be honest, in fairness to Millwall, as much as we don't like them as Chelsea, they have begun to improve steadily in terms of their image. But then again, there is still a guarantee, there's still Millwall fans who will go to those games and who are definitely racist, but they won't get the attention.
There are a lot of people, and I think in the younger generation now especially, people who watch Green Street once or twice and read up on Chelsea's history, and they think they're that. Do me a fucking favour.
Yeah, but that's not to do with racism.
No, but it is. But you can see it's a stem, and it's kind of a case of, look, it was a dark patch in our history, irrespective of what people think it's the glory is or whatever. It wasn't. If you want to go and have a tear up at Sunderland in the rain or whatever, do it. But don't do it on my fucking under my club's name. I go to the games to watch football. I go to talk about the football. I want to go home. I want to have a pint, and I want to be able to sit down on my match and say, if we were shit today, we were shit, and have that conversation about the football. I don't want to be sitting here talking about this. Why is the fact? It's the fact that a few idiots are affecting our club's name, and it's not a club-wide pandemic. as people like to paint it as.
No, it definitely isn't.
It's not a pandemic. Sitting there and saying it's a pandemic at your club, it's this, it's that. Look at your own fucking clubs and you deal with your own problems. We as fans all need to take our part and we need to step up to it and say, look, you know, we don't sing this, we don't do that. Because we still want to be going to the football every week. And that is the nature of the beast. And I think for me, that's personally how I feel about it. Because, let's be honest, the club can put out a statement, the club can do banning orders. That's easy. But it's a step, it's counterculture. And unfortunately, that because of previous history with Chelsea, I know you're saying it's just history, completely understand that, but there is a culture still there. Chelsea have the oldest season ticket holders on average, in the Premier League. So it's kind of a case of there is going to be that history there. There is going to be that element of what is happening still around. However, for the same token, if you look at that previous history, look at Chelsea culturally as well. The Liquidator is a reggae song, which Chelsea are famously associated with. Trojan Records, again, and a music label which is founded in Jamaica, in London, but took on Jamaican artists and black artists in the 1670s to formulate their music and put it out.
Yeah.
You look at, you've got Madness, you look at the music, you look at all that stuff as well, as examples in and around Chelsea. You can see that there is that movement there. As well as having the National Front, you had the, I forgot what they're called. It was Combat 18 and
Neo-Nazis.
The Neo-Nazis, but you had the people that combated that at Chelsea as well, who organised concerts, who wanted, through Trojan Records, through all this other stuff, to try and combat fascism, basically.
And that's where I think the agenda is towards Chelsea, because people do always forget about those type of things. And at the end of the day, I think you need to look not only at the bad, but you need to look at the good that's being done as well. And I think that has been completely thrown under the bus, especially over the past couple of weeks. I think it has. Yeah. But the thing is, what I want to just add is, like, I think it's sort of a side topic, but we all know that there is tons and tons and tons of snowflakes nowadays, and things are just, people getting offended for getting offended's sake and getting offended on behalf of other people. And it brings me back to the thing with the Sterling incident. Now, there was one guy who was outed, and there were 3 other Chelsea fans, I think, and they were not named, and they were just given ban orders, but no reason has come out as to any, no further reason or anything has come out as to why they've been getting those ban orders. Now, if it's because of abusive language and racism, then yeah, and you throw the book at them, you got to expose them as well, right? But that's, again, alleged. It's alleged. But the thing is, I'd say if they just done some normal, like, I say normal abuse, but you say, oh yeah, you're a wanker, you're a dickhead on the ball as he's coming over to the ball. At the end of the day, personally, I think that's football banter, and that needs to be. I think that still needs to be in football, because at the end of the day, football is about going to a game, and especially if you're an away fan, you're against the rest of the stadium, and I think football still needs to be there, or else it becomes too tame, and it just doesn't become good to watch. And I just want to. The thing is, I'll just want to say, there's going to be a line which is getting closer and closer to what is considered football banter, and then these people who are just saying, "Oh no, I can't have that." I feel offended on somebody else's behalf, so it's wrong. And I feel that is coming back. I think it's coming in.
To summarise it in a way which I think I agree with that. I think the racism and the anti-Semitism, I think we can all agree that's unfounded to do. And I think now that it just needs to stop. Yeah. However, there are too many people, such as at the minute in the Christmas spirit. Why the fuck are people getting offended that Father Christmas is called Father Christmas? He's not fucking. Yeah, no, he might be real. It depends on how old you are. Sorry if I broke it to you.
But you were going to say.
Here's the thing. I agree with you on that, and I think with all this, with the Sterling incident, I think it's been used by the media in a way to attack fans who are giving players sick. And here's the thing. I wouldn't even call it football banter. I call it more than that. Us as fans, we're called the 12th man. by giving these players stick, by giving them a hard time when they're at our ground or when we're the away fans and it's everyone against us, you have that us versus them mentality. That's what football is about. If you have no ability to have any impact on the game, what's the point?
Exactly.
What's the point of you paying
And
the 50 quid for the ticket? What's the point of you being there?
Exactly, and I'll argue the fact that I personally think the Alonso murderer chants are completely wrong. But at the end of the day, fans will do that because it does get in his head.
Saw the Fulham game.
Exactly, it does give him bad performances. And at the end of the day, when you go, you're a fan because you want your team to win. And if you're going to have a go at a player to put him in a bad mentality, then you will do that.
No, but irrespective, that's another one which no one really picked up on, and that
is true. Yeah.
Me. And this is
and
something
Rent Boys as well.
And, there you go. There's one.
Rent
There you
Boys
go.
massive.
No one's picking up on homophobia. I'm sorry, but people bang on us like footballers need to be able to get if they're gay, they need to be able to be openly gay. Do you think they're going to be openly gay? People are going to be doing that at Chelsea? Really?
Oh, I actually deep in that. I'd feel for the first
Really?
Chelsea player to come out.
Exactly.
But the thing is, what I will say is, we've said a lot of times, even when we were in school, you say something to mates, you go, oh, that's gay. But the thing is, that is just naturally ingrained, I think. And it's not good, but it's not good necessarily. But I think we've all been guilty of doing that.
Yeah, but you grow out of it because you understand what you're saying is wrong.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
you do. I mean, put it this way: as a bloke who did theatre for 18 years, who did want to be an actor, who has all the qualifications to do so, I've taken my fair stick of homophobia despite being straight, and I think it's kind of a case of it's not fair. I think it's kind of a case of there is a lot which is nasty, and there are plenty of time. Obviously, again, Christmas spirit, fairy tale in New York's getting.
Oh yeah.
Bullshit. I mean, it's kind of a case of, there is ways to handle that and whatever. But homophobia, anti-Semitism, racism, whatever, it needs to be stamped out of the game. And like I said, if you think it's founded and you think people are just being snowflakes because they don't like racism, anti-Semitism, and homophobia, just fuck off.
Yeah, that is where it becomes.
It is as simple as that. When people are saying people are being snowflakes over that, I'm sorry, but it's not true. It's not true. And I think it's kind of a case of it just needs to be snapped out and dealt with in a way which, we as fans can do. We have that power to do so. We have social media. We have fan forums. We have groups. Dom, he's behind the camera. He obviously is a fan representative alongside the club, and they have conversations about this regularly. So it's kind of a case of whatever happens off the back of this, we need to resolve it as a group. And this whole thing of Chelsea fans versus Chelsea fans on Twitter or whatever just needs to stop. But anyway, I'll let you two wrap up because I think we've said our piece on this. And as a fan, I like going to football. And
yeah,
I think
it's just not worth it.
No, it's not worth it. And that's the nature of the beast. I want to go to football. I want to be able to take my kids. I want to be able to take my little brother. I want to be able to go with my dad. I want to be able to have this. I want to be able to sit in the stands, and we are the 12th man, as Lewis said, and we have the power to deal with the situation. So let's do it. That's as simple as that, really.
Yeah. Well, I think we've said a lot to these two questions anyway. So thank you for the two of you for sending in your questions our Sad Bastards of the week. Make sure you check out all of our socials, our personals. Links in the description down below. Our next episode of Sad Bastards Corner will be a Christmas special. So we'll do a few roundups here and there
with a special guest as well.
Yes.
So we're filming this one on the Tuesday, and then we're filming the Christmas special the day after. So we'll take some of your questions. However, at the same time, I think we can just do a roundup of the year. I think we should go through.
Yeah, we'll go through our Sad Bastards each week as well. We'll give a shout out to each of them. But yeah, you got anything else to say, my friend?
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Carefree Lucy on YouTube. Let's talk about this topic. Leave a comment down below with your opinions on this discussion because there's a lot of topics to talk about. There's a lot of key factors in it. Let us know your opinions. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Don't forget to follow all of our links on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter and Instagram, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care. See you later.